Friday, May 29th. I'm Josh Greiveldinger. As of this week, over 100,000 people in our country have died of COVID-19. While the United States contains less than 5% of the world population, we've suffered 27% of the worldwide deaths in this pandemic. In a matter of months, we've lost more American lives than we did in the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, 9/11, the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, and last year's flu season combined. So to all of our viewers, but especially those who are grieving, welcome to the lockdown. The growing death toll didn't deter people from partying over Memorial Day weekend. On a day that was set aside to remember those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for America, these callous revelers were unwilling to make the simple sacrifice of avoiding crowds. I struggled to find a punchline about these ingrates who would rather party than care about their fellow citizens, but I've never found clowns very funny. It took 7 days, but I finally received my coronavirus test results yesterday. I'm fortunately not currently infected. But it's a shame the turnaround takes so long. I could have used the results when I couldn't tell if I was experiencing COVID symptoms or a panic attack. Never has a panic attack been such good news. It's becoming increasingly clear how we live will be forever altered. In New York City, they're painting social distancing circles in their parks. In Germany, bars are handing out hats made of pool noodles, which looks dumb but will certainly lead to some fun drinking games. And I'm no longer the neighborhood pariah for yelling at people to give me space on the sidewalk. But some larger upheavals are in store for us. Major corporations are rethinking their physical footprint now that we've all grown accustomed to working from home. Twitter says its workers could telecommute for as long as they'd like, while Coinbase says they're now a remote-first company. I enjoy their attempt to avoid using the words work from home. It's almost like work done in the home has historically been disrespected and undervalued. Personally, I'm proud to not only be a house husband, but also the heartthrob of this home office. So as we witness the end of downtown as we know it, spare a moment for the ice cream vendor on Maple Street that always tries to overcharge me because I look like a tourist, for the douchey business bros who are always yelling into their phones, and all those rappers still trying to sell you their CDs. Guys, I haven't bought a CD in years, not even from bands I've heard of. One group we won't be seeing less of, rats. That's right. Those adorable urban vermin are spreading out and looking for meals as fewer humans milling about downtowns means less trash for them to eat. But on the bright side, this is happening just in time for election season. Rat King 2020 for mayor. He's going to be in charge whether you like it or not. Pressure mounts on Governor Cooper of North Carolina to guarantee the Republican National Convention will go on as originally planned in August, with 20,000 people crowded into an arena. Anyone who can't see how that might be a bad idea is a good candidate for the Darwin Award, which makes it a bit worrisome that the source of that pressure is the President of the United States. While President Trump demanded an answer by today, Governor Cooper says he can't make any determinations until he receives a safety plan for the event, which the RNC has yet to deliver. More worrisome is how many Republican governors are willing to host this super spreader event if North Carolina won't approve it. Unsurprisingly, Georgia Governor Kemp is among them. While his gamble to reopen Georgia early seems to have paid off, he's like Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, using his winnings to just place more bets. But if it seems surprising to you that the government could be so careless with the lives of its citizens, you must not have heard about what happened to George Floyd of Minneapolis. While it's not strictly pandemic news, it would be irresponsible of me to not use my platform to talk about what happened to Mr. Floyd. Police officer Derek Chauvin killed Mr. Floyd by kneeling on his neck for 8 minutes while ignoring his pleas for help and cries of distress. Many people have taken to the streets seeking meaningful and lasting change to the way law enforcement treats people of color. And they did so while still wearing masks, a stark contrast from the Open Up protests from weeks prior. Also in contrast to those protests was that these had thousands of people and were advocating for the sanctity of life, while the Reopen protests have been at most a couple hundred people trying to intimidate everyone else into letting them have a dine-in experience at Cracker Barrel. While detractors point to the minority of protesters who participated in looting and rioting, the protests were largely peaceful. And unlike the MPD, the protesters didn't kill anyone. That's our show. We'll see you next week. Wear a mask, abolish qualified immunity, and for the love of America, stop killing black people.